Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Aston Villa versus Chelsea preview. Now, listen, it's been a couple of days since we did a video. Of course, just had the Arsenal aftermath. Did a long emergency stream on that as well. And now attention turns to Aston Villa. Very difficult game at Villa Park. Nothing is the same since the 3-1 win at Villa Park for the FA Cup replay where Enzo scored that incredible free kick where Disasi and Badiashile partnered up and pushed up and kept a compact, really good defensive performance. And obviously we ended up putting in a nice attacking performance as well at the other end. We can't even play that same team. You wouldn't do it anyway because the form is completely different. The context has changed. So that game is kind of irrelevant. People talk about, oh, we've beaten Aston Villa already. We're in a different position right now. There's got to be some sort of bounce back, some sort of fight back from what happened at Arsenal. However, when we get into the injuries and my team and the circumstances and what we're currently doing, it's a different game. It's a different game. So let's start with, obviously, the under-25 transfer rule, according to Simon Phillips, is now coming to an end at Chelsea. Thankfully, there will be no more. Well, listen, let me say this. Chelsea this summer, if you are now confirmed to be scrapping the under-25 transfer rule, that is about 25% of the mindset changing. Don't multitask. Don't try and acquire another feeder club for your multi-club model, Portuguese, South American. Don't do that. Leave that alone. Put that on pause, right? Put that on pause. Do not acquire any more players at right wing that are 16, 17 years old. Do not stockpile any more youngsters. I'm not even going to say put that on pause because I don't even want it to be on pause. Just stop. Just stop. Focus on, yes, experienced, but the right experience. Leadership, intangibles that are missing from the team, attributes that are missing from the team, aerial dominance, presence, like I said, leadership as well as the experience, clinical, effective players. And just focus on the first team, not the, stockpile of young players, not Strauss, but focus on the first team. And try to just do 3-4 key players in this bracket, and that will hopefully unify and bring it all together. Cut out all of the little bits of bullshit that we've had to deal with the young players scrapping and fighting amongst each other, the immaturity, the lack of social awareness. Get people in there. This has got to be a Mourinho second season when it was his second spell. Costa, Fabregas, Felipe Luis. Do you remember that transfer window? Decisive, to the point, and presence. And that spine flipped, it flipped it thing. Obviously, Aspilicueta started over Felipe Luis in the end, but those signings set a precedent. Now, in this position, it'd be very difficult to make world-class signings, of course, but that's got to be the intention's got to be to bring in players that are going to balance out this squad from a mental standpoint, from a tactical standpoint, from a technical standpoint, and from a obviously physical standpoint. So that's got to be the key, and that's got to be the focus. And the sooner we get that done, then the better. Hopefully we stabilise. Yes, Pochettino, his situation is similar to the Ten Hag. Fabrizio reports in terms of the decision that will be made on the manager, and that will be made at the end of the season in terms of his future. In my opinion, he has, and reports have come out that there is rumours that he has been a bit too soft or too nice to the players. The players are quite happy to have him stay. The players don't want him to leave. Of course they don't. He's been mollycoddling them. He's been looking after them. He's been, wrapping them in cotton wool. He's been baking them, baking them cakes and barbecue chickens and lemon squeezes and parties and events, and no accountability, no decisiveness on set pieces and who takes what, and a free-for-all almost sometimes, it seems. We need a little bit more discipline here. We need some authoritarian. I get it that in this new age, like I've said before, social media age, younger players, they have to be looked after, they have to be shielded. But in my opinion, he's not got the balance right. So I'm glad to see those reports kind of coming out. I'm not surprised to see the players absolutely love him. I'm not surprised to see the players back him. But we need the standards and the levels to raise. And that starts with obviously the ownership and Egbali and changing the policy and the strategy and getting serious, but it also comes from the manager's mouth and articulating that and speaking on that in every presser, not wavering, not dipping, not up and down. That is a clear message that needs to be consistent. And if you're not going to be consistent in the pressers and in public, if you're not going to be consistent in your demeanor on the touchline when we're asking you to change and affect games on the bench, and you're sitting there and you're not ready to make impact, then it's not going to be consistent behind the scenes to the players when the one-to-ones and the conversations. And this is coming off the back of listening to that podcast up front, I believe, with Simon Jordan and John Terry, and him speaking on Jose Mourinho, and him speaking about the pressure and the shock value that he brought to the side from coming in after Claudio Ranieri and really demonstrating immediately from the first presser, which is exactly what I said a couple of days ago that Thomas Tuchel did in his first presser, demonstrating and articulating the demands and the standards from day one and making it abundantly clear. And funnily enough, Pochettino actually started quite well on the speaking front, but he's not been able to consistently keep it up. And that is maybe because of the reality of what he's working with. He understands that this team is not ready. But don't stand for anything. Don't let anything fly. And that's the key here. There's got to be a middle ground. So the pressure is mounting, as the reports continue to say. He has not lost the dressing room, which, I don't think he should try and lose the dressing room. I don't think that helps the situation because, like I said, I don't think we're able to gut and clear out the whole squad. We just flip the squad. But what we do need to do is assess the situation, maybe a 4-5 out and a 4-5 in situation, but try not to obviously derail the whole team and absolutely decimate it, because then you're going to be on catch up again, trying to, reinstall some chemistry and cohesion into the side. You've got to do it bit by bit. That's partly why we're probably in this mess, is because we did everything too quickly. So that's got to be assessed as well. And that's why it would be lovely if a new director was to come in and assess that all before the end of the season. But as much as we talk about the manager's job security will be decided at the end of the season, it seems like the directors are also not really under severe pressure. There's talk, there's questions about their decisions, but there doesn't seem to be absolute pressure on them, which there should be. And that's a shame as well. Now, getting into the injury and team news, finally, Enzo Fernandez has gone for surgery. The surgery is successful. That should have happened weeks ago. There's no point a player playing through pain. There's no point a player playing to the level that he was playing at against Arsenal. It's of no help to him. It's not of no help to the team. It's of no help to the narratives around him. It's of no help to anyone. So that should have been done anyway, but it's finally been done. He is now out until the end of the season, and he will not be back until next season. He'll be back for the Copa America, and I'm delighted. I'm honestly delighted. If you are injured, go about your business. Surgery, whatever you need to do, get yourself sorted for pre-season and next season. This season is not now the most important thing in the world. The season is almost basically a write-off. So there's nothing now. Don't tell the players that. Do you know what I mean? You still need to perform. But from a fan perspective, I don't believe we're going to make European places. I don't believe we're going to be consistent. I don't even believe we're really going to win this game, considering what is left and what is left to our devices in terms of players available. So we need to protect next season. We need to get players back in tip-top shape for next season. And if there's no point playing through pain for scraps of Conference League. This is just focus on the bigger fish to fry, I guess, next season, which is where everybody starts from zero. We start again, and there's actual hope. There's actual chance of us doing something. So that's good to see. And obviously, Poch spoke about that. He has confirmed that Cole Palmer's back for this game, which is an absolute relief, because without Cole Palmer, his team is sinking. As we saw against Arsenal, there's absolutely no quality, reliable quality in that final third without him. And the stats speak for itself. That's why he leads in every metric, and that's why he leads in goals and assists, because he is the guy. He is the quality in this team. So good to see him back. And obviously, some questions were posed there. And now, listen, we move to the update is that Carney Chukwuemeka is now out of this game. Raheem Sterling is out of this game. I like to do expected two injuries per press conference. That's the basic, line that you should follow in terms of, are you worrying about whether players will be available, unavailable? Expect 2 fresh injuries per press conference. If you do that, then you won't be too far from the truth in terms of what is going to be the situation for the team in the upcoming games. And maybe you might get a player back, but you'll usually get another player out as well, just to kind of balance that and counteract that, which is wonderful. So, yeah, it is what it is. Listen, you know my thoughts. The league is the league. Conference league is not good enough. It's not acceptable. It's not the level. So, of course, we need to win the game. We need to win every game. Am I confident with the team that I'm about to show you that I would have to play? I mean, I've picked this team as my team because this is all that's left. It's not a great team. I'll be honest. It's not a great team. It starts with Petrovic. It goes to Gilchrist at right back. Trevor and Silva comes straight back in at the centre back. Cucurella at left back. I'm not happy, you know, with some of the players that are going to start in this game in terms of their performances from previous, in terms of their form. However, I have no choice now. This is the position we're in. The Caicedo and Gallagher partnership from Everton goes back in, especially with Villa being so in your faces at Villa Park. They're very attacking, of course. They're very direct. They've got a lot of pace. We need to protect our back line. We need to mop up and pick up any loose balls and try to get a grip. And hopefully those two can do that. And obviously in the 10, there is no Chukwuemeka. I was really looking forward to him potentially getting game time with Enzo going to surgery. That is not going to happen now. He's injured again. So it looks like Mykhailo Mudryk is going to have to play there because I need to see Cole Palmer back on the right wing. Because Madueke is not playing well enough. Cole Palmer, I know at right wing can perform. Gilchrist has an engine. He's not a flying, attack-minded fullback. He's no Livramento. He's no Reece James. He's no academy fullback Tariq Lamptey that we've produced that can go forward to overlap, to cross, to give us some threat. However, he has an engine to at least provide an overlap and to give Cole Palmer that option to come inside. And Mudryk has had some performances in the 10 where he has showed something. So we can't run from it. We paid for this player, overpaid for this player. We have to get something out of him. So into the 10 you go. Madueke, you haven't been playing great. You haven't stepped up, in my opinion, since the whole debacle against Everton. So you sit on the sidelines. And that means now I'm moving Jackson to left wing. I'm moving Jackson from striker to left wing because your previous performances up front as a striker in terms of finishing is not good enough. I appreciate all the other things you do outside the box, which is why I'm moving you to left wing so you can do those things. And you and Mudryk can double up on that left-hand side because we know Cucurella can't get forward. They showed some signs of link-up at little previous instances in their Chelsea careers. So you two operate on that left-hand side and make something happen for this team. Mudryk, you play in the 10. You crash the box. You get some shots off. Let's see if you can finish. Get yourself into goal-scoring positions because you're not doing it from left wing. You're not making enough runs. So get on the ball more and do something. And I'm putting Washington up front because I'm tired. We paid for this player. We said that we have him and we recognise him after loaning out Amando Broja and loaning out Datra Fofana, and we're not using him. So put him up front, give him opportunities, and let's see if he takes them. Let's see if he can get himself a goal. I'm tired of not addressing the elephant in the room. We have two strikers in this squad. Neither of them are the level required. One of them can do something with the ball in terms of his strength and his hold-up play, and he can carry the ball and whatnot, but he can't finish. So let's see if the other one can finish. That's what I would do, genuinely. It's Aston Villa away. They're going to give us chances. They're going to play the highest line. They're going to give us open spaces, and that's why Mudryk in the 10 for the transition is there for me as well. And the bench is going to be depleted. There won't be many options, but this is life. This is what we deal with the injury crisis. So that's my team. You let me know what you think in the comments down below. I've tried to justify why I've put people in certain places. I don't trust Mudryk to defend. By the way, in terms of the tracking back, Jackson, when he was playing left wing, his heat map was a lot stronger in terms of doing his due diligence and tracking back and getting up and down and helping Cucurella. So that's also defensive balance on that side. He can dribble Jackson. He can carry the ball better than Mudryk, in my opinion. So again, on the wing, makes sense for me to have you over there, to have those cutbacks, to crash the box when Cole Palmer is making those crosses from the right-hand side, you and Washington in the box, both of you committing, and let's see what you can do. And like I said, Mudryk, you can't run from it. You are an expensive asset. You have to get a grip here. We need you to play. We need you to perform. Sterling is out. There is really no other option, in my opinion, in these areas. And I wouldn't go with Madueke again at right wing, purely because I just don't really like the performances. You know, I don't really like the performances from many players. So I'm just trying to move as many people around in different areas and positions as possible, try and see if it triggers something, triggers some sort of improvement. If we play Madueke right wing, that means Palmer's in the 10, and that means Mudryk's still on the left. And that means Jackson's still up front. And I need to change something. I'd need to see something different. So that's what I would go with. That's my situation. On the team, Egbali, all eyes on you. All eyes on you. You are the guy that has taken over day-to-day from Todd Bowie, who is now just acting as chairman. You need to assess this season, and you should be doing it already, by the way, and you need to see what can be done and what needs to be done to alter that for next season. And if that comes at the cost of the directors that you've hired, then so be it. Comes at the cost of the manager who was hired by said directors, then so be it. Comes at the cost of a under 25 profit flipping machine, then so be it. Bring in some experience, bring in some know-how, bring in some quality, by the way, some starting quality. Best place to probably go is the Premier League, where they've already experienced the tempo, experienced the intensity, experienced the demands. You have to pick the best players from your lower half of the league, because you're probably not going to be able to drag players out of Aston Villa, out of Newcastle. But where did we get Gary Cahill from? Bolton. You know, there are some good players in a Crystal Palace team. There are some, but they need to be the best players in those teams. And they need to be experienced at this level, and they then can come and immediately impact, like Cole Palmer did at Manchester City, come immediately impact. There are some quality players in these teams. So you're not gonna sign players from Real Madrid. You're not gonna sign players from Barcelona. You're not gonna get undisputed players from these sides. So you need to try and elevate the team and take advantage of the market and make sure that you bring in experienced players that they're ready to make that jump to a top club. They've been doing it in the Premier League year in, year out, last 2-3 years. And let's go from there. But yeah, that's it, guys. Listen, that's the prediction. I don't think we're going to win. I think Aston Villa's motivation to beat us and right the wrongs of the FA Cup, but also they're chasing top 4. They're very good at Villa Park. Ourselves, we should have more than enough motivation to bounce back from the most embarrassing defeat against Arsenal. But do we have the quality in that lineup, in that team, the manager to impact change, to actually do something if need be, to make in-game changes for second half, to not look like absolute crap, which has been a consistent theme? Who knows? Let's see what happens. But I'm not confident at all. So yeah, smash up the likes, make sure you subscribe, guys. Big up your damn selves, and I'll see you next time. In a bit, people. Peace.
We'll be right back.